Okay, so this was the go home show for Raw on its way to Hell in a Cell, or as some people call it, Night of Champions Part 2. The opening, of course, was Triple H explaining why he fired Miz and R-Truth, or Awesome Truth, and it still seemed like it really didn't make that much sense. And then Ziggler came out complaining about getting beaten up by Wolverine. This time he knew it was Wolverine and not Batman, which was good, so someone told him in the back that he made a mistake last week. And then Cody Rhodes about him getting busted open by Randy Orton. And then Christian about whatever Christian complains about now. So I then led each of them having their own individual matches. Christian taking on John Cena, which of course went nowhere because Alberto Del Rio and CM Punk were doing commentary at the ringside. So that match kind of went nowhere. Ziggler taking on Ryder for the title, which seemed interesting. And then a 10-man over-the-top rope match featuring Cody Rhodes with the winner becoming the IC champion. That match was actually fairly decent. You know, the two Sin Cara thing doesn't make that much sense. It still doesn't. It's even harder when there's 9 other people involved in the match. Seeing Sheamus and Ezekiel Jackson was actually pretty decent. All in all, only Sheamus and Ezekiel Jackson came off looking decent in this at all. And of course Cody retained at the very end by using a combination of Christian distracting Sheamus on the outside and the face mask. Not bad. Decent way to start the show with your big opening match. There's a rematch from the Divas match last week where Natalya and Beth took on Kelly and Eve. And this time, of course, Natalya and Beth were finally victorious. Finally. It is getting kind of sad that those two are obviously the most physically superior divas, and they constantly seem to have to really make everyone else look really great and credible. Which, of course, will lead to Beth Phoenix taking on Kelly for the title again for like the 3rd straight pay-per-view. I really don't care. The match between... Oh, it was also a starting to become match between the Great Khali and Mark Henry. Mark Henry jumps Khali from behind with the title. World's Strongest Slam. Done. Okay. Ziggler, who I think has new music, came out with Vicky and Swagger to take on Zack Ryder. Ryder is so ridiculously over it's not even funny. That man can draw money. You give him some crayons, a piece of paper, he will draw you money. Decent match, decent amount of back and forth. Vicky gets involved on one side, Swagger comes in, helps get a small cheap shot onto Ryder, which allows Ziggler to pick up the victory. Which then makes Air Boom come down to make it a 3-on-3 tag match, provided Vicky can find a 3rd person. Decent back and forth. And then Vicky finds her person, the returning Mason Ryan, who actually looks bigger than when he left. You know, decent back and forth. You know, the Swagger-Ziggler combination, you know, Swagler, seems that they're actually a pretty decent tag team. And then they make the tag into Ryan, who then lays out Swagger. Lays out Ziggler with like a gorilla press black hole slam. Impressive. So I guess he's a face now. Because, you know, that's what Raw needs. Raw needs more giant, muscular faces. So Ryder picks up the pieces on Ziggler. There's too much ers in that match. And also, before you know, it's like, okay, so where are we at now? Oh, we're pretty much to the main event already. Oh. Okay. Del Rio, Punk. Ironically, those two finally have some better chemistry. I think Alberto, having lost the title and doing an almost laser focus on the arm, makes for a much better sort of match. And they need Punk in this match when it's Alberto and Cena and Punk for the title at Hell in a Cell. Because Alberto and Cena don't seem to have anything going on at all inside that ring. But Punk and Del Rio, not that bad. Punk first picks up the victory. The cell lowers. And then it's pretty much Del Rio wearing them both out with the chair. Not bad. Yeah, I think a more vicious Del Rio is definitely needed in this sort of environment when it comes to Hell in a Cell. So all in all, not bad for the go home show. I really will say one thing: the commentary during the Air Boom Rider or Air Boomski taking on Swagler with Ryan. The commentary between Booker T, Cole, and good old JR was just ridiculous. They're not even talking about the match. Apparently, Evan Bourn's reading books about how to have increased longevity up to be 150 years old. No idea why they threw out that bizarre, random sort of fact, but they played it off for a decent amount of time and actually made for some really interesting commentary that had nothing at all to do with the match. It was kind of like watching a Divas match.